Welcome to the Spiritual AF Life podcast, a magical place where your host, Heather Danielle, psychic medium, will bring the mystical woo-woo world down to earth in practical ways. Tune in every Monday for your weekly reading and on Wednesdays to hear fascinating conversations with spiritual experts, uplifting stories, and deep dives into the metaphysical world, all to help you tap into the invisible guidance that's all around you. It's time to start living a spiritual AF life. Get cozy. The conversation is starting now.
Happy Monday and welcome to the Divine Forecast. This is something that I do every Monday to give you a little bit of insight and guidance for the week ahead. However, this episode is going to be a little bit different because we are going to be doing two different things. The number one thing is that I'm going to share with you the card of the month. And for this week's reading, I'm actually going to be using the Past Life deck by Brian Weiss. And it is because I really feel a lot of us are going through this season in our lives right now where we can see a lot of our past life traumas and dramas really affecting right now. So I actually already pulled the cards and it's really insane because I was getting some insight before I even pulled the cards, and the cards that I pulled were like 1000% on with what I was picking up. So I'm like, oh yes, we're definitely onto something here. So each one of the days of the week, I pulled a card from a past life that will help you do one thing each day to really make sure that you are doing everything you can just to get rid of any kind of past life karma, or to heal and to really learn and grow from some of those past life things that are or could be really messing with your life right now. Okay, we're going to get more into that, but first, let's start off with the card for the month. If you were watching Coffee and Cards on Sunday, you might have already heard about this card, but I actually felt guided to use the Universe Has Your Back deck. However, as I talk to you right now, Spirit's really telling me to use the other card that I pulled, which is from the Spirit Junkie Oracle deck by Gabby Bernstein, and to share that card with you as a reminder for this month. And it is pretty freaking crazy what this card is. It has never came up before as far as I know, but I know it's a big message for a lot of us out there, okay? And it says, I am a light worker in disguise. I don't have to talk about it. I can just be it. Oh my gosh. So the reason why I'm so happy that this card came up, and I just think that it just fits in with so many things that's going on with a lot of us right now, is because a lot of us are going through this spiritual awakening, and we might be just learning about our spiritual self or a higher self. We might be wanting to learn to connect to our spirit guides or our past loved ones or our angels, or we might be a little bit further ahead and down the road, and we're thinking about coming out of the spiritual closet or to do more things with our gifts. And what Spirit is saying is, hey, you don't have to, do all these magnificent things and be all these magnificent things and to do anything with it. Just by honoring your own light and your own spiritual self, that is enough, okay? Don't put more stress on yourself. And it's also just letting you know that you are intuitive and you are a light worker. You have a beautiful light inside of yourself, and your job, like every single day, is just going to be sharing that light. It doesn't mean you have to be a psychic or a medium and things like that, but just being your awesome, unique self. And the more that you go down your spiritual path, you're going to learn more about yourself, and it's just going to change your world. But I love this because you could just be it. And something else I want to say right now, because it's coming up, is, especially with people in your life and your friends in your life and those kinds of things, and you might see clearly now because you have gone down your spiritual path and you can see that some things are more messed up with what people believe or do and those kinds of things, and you're going to want to help them. But this card is saying, hey, just by being you and being the light, they will come to you when they're ready. And that's what happened to me with my mom. It was like not a lot of people in my family really cared or liked what I did with my psychic and mediumship. But then as soon as my mom got sick, that's what they were asking. They're like, Heather. And I, not even just that, but it was also that they see how I live my life and how I'm always looking for signs and getting signs from people who have passed on. And then all of a sudden they start noticing those signs in their life, and it can make their life a lot better. I don't know about you, but in my family, there is like this very potent fear of death. And so because I opened up to my gifts and I'm so verbal about, just who I am and what I do, and I share it on social media and things like that, they're able to learn through me, if you will, and they don't really have that fear of death as much anymore. Maybe I took the edge off a little bit. And so that's what it's saying. It's like you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. You can just be your amazing and awesome self for the month of August, okay? And I don't know why, but they also say too, just to make sure that you hold on tight to your spiritual tribe in the month of August, okay? We're here for you in the Rise into Your Power group. We also part of the Coffee and Cards Club. We're here for you. Or if you're just joining us for Coffee and Cards on Sundays, that we love you and you can definitely reach out to us. I know that we have such a great group of peeps, and I know if you feel guided to somebody, maybe it's for a reason, okay? All right, so anyways, let's get to this week's reading. So crazy. So this is a past life deck, and I'm going to read Monday's card, which is the High Priest or Priestess. This card is saying that in a former life that you were actually very intuitive. You might have been a witch, a psychic, a gypsy, some kind of priest or priestess, but this is saying that you are a very, very spiritual person in a former life. Now, with a lot of us who have been having, past lives that were like this, very spiritual people, a lot of times bad things happened when we shared our gifts. Villagers might have been scared of our gifts. We might have been sacrificed for our gifts. We might have been, burned, hung, all these kinds of different things, because of that. We might have been ridiculed or outcasted. And that's another reason why that we don't feel comfortable opening up to our gifts, or we're kind of fearful. And so this card on Monday is letting you know that you may be apprehensive and taking the next step in your spiritual journey because of this past life that you have. And it's also kind of confirming to you too that you are intuitive, that you are psychic, and you can be a medium. It's something that you naturally have, but it's a skill sometimes you have to develop. You have to learn how to use it, especially because with these kinds of gifts, it's almost like our whole childhood, if you grew up in kind of the traditional normal childhood, this kind of thing is frowned upon. So it's not your fault, but we got to wake up that other side of you. And if once we wake up the other side of you, that spiritual side with your gifts, your empath gifts, your clairsentient, clairvoyance, and things like that, it's just going to change your life. You're going to get healthier, just like I did, and you're going to feel a little bit better. It's just going to be overall great journey for you. All right, so keep on going with that spiritual journey. I'm seeing a lot of purple around you, so know that this might be a very spiritual time. But your spiritual self and the journey that you're on is something that you need to go through in this lifetime. So wherever you're being guided to go and do, whether it's going to be getting a new core card deck or a tarot card deck or a pendulum or whatever it is, or to join a group, to go to a meetup, whatever it is, do it, because you are going to be taking away some of those challenges that you did in a past life, because maybe in a past life you were too scared and you never got involved with your spiritual side. And now Spirit's like, hey, get over this part in this life, so if you come back here again, you don't have to deal with it. And then also they're telling me too, if you do this, if you open up to your spiritual side and take those opportunities and take those little nudges and actually act upon them, that it's going to help you reach that potential and to really create a life that you never even knew was possible for you. Woo! All right, that was a good one. Now, on Tuesday, we are going to work on a completely different area of our life. Are you ready? For Tuesday, the card that came up is Love Life. OMG. So it is saying that whatever your love life looks like right now, that there are learning opportunities in it from past lives. This person you might have actually spent some past lives with, or this actually can be that you are actually needing to overcome some challenges so that you can bring in somebody in your life, that you really need to heal and get rid of some of those bad seeds that were planted from either previous relationships or previous people in your life. And then it's also telling you too, if you are with somebody, to really look at the common denominator. Actually, I correct myself. Spirit's saying, if you are with somebody, look at some of the common things that maybe get under your skin and trigger you. But if you also can look at previous relationships, if you're single, and see what the common things were there, because that is going to give you some insight on what needs to be healed, not just for this lifetime, but for other past lifetimes, because it really does seem like there is a cycle that's happening, and you can actually see it happening in your previous relationships, whether it's going to be the same kind of person that you keep on dating or going towards, or the reasons why you break up, or why you guys are arguing and things like that. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind if you're looking for somebody. But I also feel too that there's a lot of people who are single that are listening to this that need to look in different places. Like, you are finding the people in the wrong spots, so you have to think outside the box a little bit. I don't know why, but a cruise is coming up. Okay, so I'm not sure if someone needs to meet somebody on a cruise, or you guys are going on a cruise. I have no idea, but a cruise ships also remind me of Florida too, so maybe there's somebody in Florida waiting for you. I don't know. But now, if you are somebody who is married or in a relationship, then I really want you to look at what triggers you with them and notice that there's a part of you that needs to be healed. And when that person triggers you, it's really showing you, okay, this is what part I need to heal. But now here's the little kicker too. Sometimes it's not just showing you what you need to heal, but it's also showing you how you've changed and what things you will and will not stand for anymore. And that's okay that if you change, if you've been in a relationship for a while and you change and you're a little bit different, but the most important thing is to make sure that you're growing together. And also, even if the other person isn't growing, like, you need to grow, but don't allow somebody else in your life to stop you from growing because they're not growing. Like, I'm sorry, like, no matter what I do, I'm going to keep on doing what I feel like I need to do. My husband's usually always supportive. Sometimes I got to talk him into it. Sometimes he might be plain flat out, like, doesn't want me to do something, but I explain to him that I need to. And I'm going to do it whether or not, like, he gives me permission, okay? So don't allow whoever you're with to hinder your growth. And a good person isn't going to stop you from growing and doing what you need to do. Just like me, my husband doesn't stop me, but sometimes he'll be like, Heather, is that the smartest way to spend money? Or are you putting too much things on your plate? Those are the kinds of things that he will stop me from, or he'll try to slow me down when I'm making some crazy freaking decisions. So kind of think about it that way as well. But I'm going to keep on doing my thing and whatever I want to do. And I don't really care what my husband's doing. Like, I hope that he does great things with his life and he's motivated and I'll be there for him. But I'm not going to not work on myself because maybe he's not working on himself in that way. Okay, which my husband is. But I'm just saying that sometimes there's an imbalance in relationships, and that's kind of what I'm feeling. It's almost like that I'm getting that feeling of clean up your side of the street. You do you right now, okay? And you worry about the rest later. So the same thing that I have to bring up, because Monday was talking about spiritual stuff. A lot of times, the men in our lives, or even our spouses, our wives, they're not going to be on board with how our spiritual beliefs are growing and changing. Look at my husband, 5 years into our marriage, and I tell him I'm a psychic medium, and he was very apprehensive at first. But I did kind of what our card of the month said, which I was just being the light, I was being myself, and now all of a suddenly, me and my husband are living a crazy freaking life I never thought we would live. He used to make fun of me watching those psychic shows. He used to make fun of me when I would watch those paranormal shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. Now that's something we do on a Friday night, and we're going and doing paranormal investigations together. And so by you just doing you and doing what makes you happy, you just never know what kind of relationship that you can have if you just keep on following those little breadcrumbs, if you will, and then your future spouse or your current spouse or your current partner will be on board. You just never know. So don't let that stop you and keep on going. All right, so Wednesday, I just have to tell you that the cards that came up for this week are just so insane, because there's so many cards in this deck that don't really relate very well to our everyday lives right now, but these ones actually really do. The spiritual life, your love life, and now on Wednesday, finances came up. Oh my gosh, isn't that so crazy? It's like finances is something that we deal with on a daily basis. And what this card is saying is that right now, finances are having some sort of effect in your life. And it actually can be, for a majority of you that are listening, if not everybody that's listening, that there was past life things and issues and challenges or whatever that are affecting your life now. Now, I really believe that I was a rich little girl, and I had parents that loved me, and I was spoiled, and I had everything I ever wanted. Now, I feel like that was a past life that I felt I had in the beginning of my spiritual journey, but I'm not sure if that was actually it or if it was just wishful thinking, and be like, Heather, you already had the quintessential perfect life in another life. That's the reason why you got the raw end of the deal on this one, right? But the finances were really, really a big part of that past life that I believe that I had, where I didn't have to worry about money, didn't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So in this life, though, for all of us that are listening right now, definitely keep your thoughts on what you do have. Keep your thoughts on how much money is coming to you easily, effortlessly. All right, don't think that I'm always broke, I don't have enough money, those kinds of things, because that is just keeping you in a lack mindset. And spirit is not lackful. Does that make sense to you? The universe is plentiful. And so we have to keep remembering that. And we have to remember that the universe, it's not all like woohoo and crazy and Looney Tunes. It's very direct. You think or you talk, whatever it is, right? Both. Thinking is very, very powerful. You think about what you want and then you get it. So if you keep on thinking about how you're broke and you don't have any money, guess what? The spirit is like, okay, you're broke and don't always have money. Perfect. And they keep on giving it to you. Just like when you're having a bad day, you're like, oh my God, everything is going wrong. Spirit hears it and guess what? Gives you more of everything going wrong. So we need to change that dialogue in our head. We have to make sure that our money mindset is on point, that we are no longer believing in some of the crappy things that we were told way before in our childhood, young adult years, things like that. Money doesn't grow on trees, there's not enough to go around. We're changing that dialogue. There is enough to go around. There's plenty for everybody, and everybody deserves to be rich AF. Because the more good people that have money, then that means the more good people can make a difference in big ways in the world. And I actually did a money mindset podcast. And in case you didn't listen to it, I will go ahead and put it in the show notes because that would be a good one to help you get over some of these financial issues from previous lives. Okay? Alrighty, now we're going on to Thursday's card, and it was so crazy because I really thought that this card was going to come up, and I was kind of hoping that it would, but when the first three cards it didn't come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, is it not? And then finally it came up for the fourth card, which is on Thursday, and it is the Atlantis card. Oh my gosh. And so what this card is saying to us, though, is that we have a connection with other beings from other planets, okay? So like the Palladians and all the different kinds of alien species out there. And I know this might sound like kind of crazy and woohoo and things like that, but no, there are all different kinds of alien races out there. And we're an alien too, if you think about it, okay? We're aliens to them. And there's no need to be afraid or to be scared, all right? There are bad and good, just like there's bad and good humans, okay? But I just think that Spirit is letting people know this right now because you may have had experiences in the past, or you might be having it now or coming up soon where you might actually have some kind of experience with a UFO or an alien species and things like that. So it's really wanting you to know that you have that connection, but it's okay. You're still protected, that you are very protected. You are very okay. You are safe. And I feel like this is validation for those who have had experiences. Obviously I've seen the lights in Beaver Island in Michigan, which freaked me out still to this day. Like there's no explanation for it. Totally feel like it's aliens. And then one time during sleep paralysis, was really surprised to wake up and find an alien in my bedroom, okay, and it was not a dream. I know the alien was real. And so this is kind of validation for me, being like, no, that was not in my head, that was not in my mind, that this is truly something that I have dealt with in the past, in my past life as well, and I'm dealing with it now currently. And it's also saying too that you could actually have been incarnated on another planet before this one. And so how you can kind of know if you were more so incarnating on another planet than on Earth, is if it's hard for you to adjust. If you feel like this is not your home, if you just always feel like maybe you're into astrology or you're into like the constellations, if you're into any kind of that science stuff that has to do with the stars or, astrophysics, then that can be a sign for you. And if it's just kind of hard for you to grasp, like, oh my gosh, I'm here, and you're always reaching up at the clouds, if you're really into the moon, to the stars, the sun, and I'll tell you what, I am not that way. I feel like Earth is my home. I love Earth. I feel like I was probably one of the first, beings to incarnate on this planet. So I don't feel that way. So if you do feel like you are maybe not home, or you're just so engrossed in all of like the magical mystery of outer space, or even just astrology because that's all written in the stars, then that's for you. If you notice with me, I'm not into astrology that much. I don't even know all of the signs of the zodiac. So if that is something that you've been really interested in, then know that this is you. This is a part of you, and give yourself a break, because you might not have been part of this planet. And then maybe this is also a sign for you to learn a little bit more about the other planets, astrology, zodiac signs, all that kinds of things, constellations, because it might be something that's really interesting with you. All right. And now also help heal up any kind of past life kind of, how do you say it? Little tidbits, things that you probably didn't learn about before in another life. And now it's a perfect time to learn. Okay, next one we are going to be bringing up for Friday's card is Galactic, which it kind of goes with what we were just talking about with the Atlantis card and with UFOs and aliens and things like that. But with the Galactic, I'm getting a little bit more of a higher vibrational, almost like a ascended masters kind of vibe. Okay, so this is like letting you know that you have so many different kinds of beings here helping you out right now, and to kind of wrap your mind around the fact that it's not just your past loved ones that are with you, but you also have some ascended masters, amazing spiritual teachers that are on the other side trying to help you out. And this is something that they're saying, that it's not just one thing they're helping you out with. It's not just your abilities, but it could be overcoming health issues, overcoming, trauma from the past. It can be overcoming those money issues. It can be overcoming love life issues. And I feel like they just really want to help out. So you really need to take the time to either ask them for help, and then taking the moments to listen, or to meditate, to do some kind of yoga, to learn a little bit more about the ascended masters and the galactic beings that are out there, so that you can see who you think is really helping you on your path right now. And a really good card deck that I would say that could help you out with this is going to be the Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray. Really great deck if you want to learn all about the different kinds of masters that were from this world and other worlds. And this is also letting you know too that don't doubt it. Don't doubt that you don't have a lot of those beings with you, and you deserve to have them with you. Don't think for 1 minute that you are not worthy of the awesomeness, okay, that they are trying to bestow upon you. You are not better than anybody else, and you're not worse than anybody else. We are all freaking equal here, okay? We are all equal here, even if times it may not seem like it, all right? And so you are 1000% worthy. I'm also seeing like a January and then it goes into April kind of vibe. So kind of keep that into the back of your mind. Maybe it's somebody's birthday or something else in there, or maybe you have plans in either January or April. So keep that on the back of your mind. It's so funny because I'm thinking to myself too, I'm like, okay, I have a brother and a sister that were born in those months, so I'm just going to kind of keep my my eyes open. But I think that is it. So just a recap really quick, okay? We are going to be working on each one of these things each day of the week: our spiritual self, our love life, our finances. And then we're also going to be looking into the deeper parts of ourselves, okay? Where we come from, the stars, all right? The beings that are around here helping us. Maybe in previous lives, we weren't accepting that help, and maybe we didn't get as far as we wanted to, or maybe we didn't overcome a lot of those things, or we didn't have those experiences that we really wanted to experience because we were maybe closed-minded, or we were too fearful. So keep that in the back of your mind. I will be posting these cards on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on Pinterest. So definitely follow me on Pinterest. I would love it so much. And let me think, anything else? I don't think so, except for I will be seeing you on a Wednesday for another awesome episode. I will see you guys then.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spiritual AF Life podcast. You'll find all the links to resources and more in the show notes. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the incredible episodes that are coming up.